Midway Blitz. Trump's federal strike force zeroes in on Chicago. That's right, Chicago. You've been asking for it? It's here. Into this right here and right now.
You try and reason with people like in Chicago with the governor and the mayor. You try and reason with them, and it's like you're talking to a wall. It's just doesn't. I assume it's just a political ideology. They're not stupid people. Must be an ideology that's just buried in their head, and you can't do a damn thing about it. And we'd love to go into Chicago and straighten it out. You know, Washington, D.C., you'll be happy to know, is a free and safe zone. It's so safe right now. We're waiting for a call from Chicago. We'll fix Chicago. And again, D.C. is right now so safe you can go out. Friends of mine called, one in particular, he's been in D.C. for a long time. And he said, I haven't gone out in 4 years for dinner with my wife. The restaurants were all closing because people were afraid, even if they were in the restaurant, it didn't matter. They were held up. You know, guys would walk in with guns into a restaurant. And that's over.
How does Operation Midway Blitz differ from the raids that you've been conducting in and around Chicago since February?
We got more resources in Chicago. Again, the president wants to make Chicago safe again. And nothing's changing. We're still prioritizing public safety threats and national security threats. It's just we send more resources to sanctuary cities. President Trump said day one, we're going to prioritize sanctuary cities because that's where the problem is. We know they're releasing public safety threats back in the community every day. We're going to go where the biggest problems are. The biggest problems are sanctuary cities.
What kinds of new resources?
More boots on the ground.
I love the smell of deportations in the morning. That's a quote from the president. Just ask this pocket-sized predator. This is Christian Soto. We asked DHS, how small? We're waiting to hear back. But there's still a lot of work to do. Like in Chicago, the ICE Super Bowl kicked off. It's game on, JB back. Ribs doesn't rule his city anymore. It's now Homan's homeland. It's dubbed Operation Midway Blitz. And Fox got a ride along and witnessed a bad hombre getting iced in real time. Meet Juan. Juan's an illegal from Mexico, but now calls Chicago home. Juan got iced after trying to touch a 13-year-old.
This is an opportunity for us to go into sanctuary cities and work against these sanctuary city policies and not let them deter ICE from being able to do our work, to go after the worst of the worst, just like the guy behind me who committed sexual assault against a minor.
Well, it's called Operation Midway Blitz, and officials say it's in honor of a woman who was killed earlier this year. Artia Ewing joins us in studio to explain.
Well, you'll remember this accident happened back in January. 20-year-old Katie Abraham of Glenview was killed in a drunk driving hit-and-run incident. Then the suspected at-fault driver, a Guatemalan national. In a post on social platform X, DHS shared Abraham's photo with the caption, "This ICE operation will target the criminal, illegal aliens who flocked to Chicago and Illinois because they knew Governor Pritzker and his sanctuary policies would protect them and allow them to roam free on American streets." Abraham was a junior at Ohio University and was in Urbana visiting friends at the University of Illinois at the time of the deadly crash. Her friend was also killed. Today's enforcement announcement from DHS is included a video from Abraham's parents.
Here's a guy that wasn't productive, wasn't a good citizen, and he barreled into a vehicle with 5 women into it. And his first instinct was to get out of the car and run. And then within a day and a half was almost at the Mexico border. So to me, these are not the productive folks we want to bring in the country. You want to build a country on migrants, probably not the guy you want to stand behind to build a country.
Today's DHS announcement comes as the Trump administration has made promises to ramp up an immigration crackdown right here in Chicago, as well as the possibility of sending in the National Guard. This morning, faith leaders rallied at Daley Plaza. Joni Lum has their message for the White House.
Clergy members of all faiths stood in unity at Daley Plaza, calling on the city to reject National Guard troops and immigration enforcement. They reported that monitors witnessed arrests on the southwest side.
Yesterday, ICIR-affiliated rapid response teams confirmed ICE presence and 3 abductions of community members in a stretch along Archer Avenue.
They say rapid response teams are watching for ICE activity, especially as people head to work and school. President Trump posted over the weekend, Chicago will find out why it's called the Department of War. Chicago leaders believe Trump declared war on this city. Some churches reported smaller attendance numbers this past weekend due to fear and anxiety. Longtime religious leaders responded with love and communication.
But Mr. Trump, the people of faith who are gathered here and rising up across this country want you to know you have met your match.
We agree. We love this city. We will fight for this city. We stand for this city. We built this city. We will defend this city and the rights of all in this city.
City officials have not received any communication about whether the National Guard will be deployed here. The clergy called on the public to know their rights and be witnesses for the most vulnerable.
Surge has begun. You can see the new ICE vehicles on the streets here in Chicago. We're just outside the Cook County Courthouse, but that surge is part of the ICE-led Operation Midway Blitz that they say is in honor of a beautiful young Chicago woman, Katie Abraham, who was killed by an illegal alien drunk driver back in January of this year. And while we are getting reaction from Illinois Senator Dick Durbin, who says that this blitz won't make Chicagoans safer, let me show you this video. Early this morning, I was out with one of ICE's teams, and we arrested this individual. His name is Juan Gaspar, and he is a 43-year-old illegal alien from Mexico. He has been convicted in 2024 of forcibly sexually assaulting a child under the age of 13. He was taken, as you can see here, without incident, but this is all part of the exact sort of violent criminal illegal alien that the ICE operations hope to bring in, apprehend, and ultimately deport. We were riding along with ICE.
Do you have a good sense of what's happening in Chicago, the scope of Operation Midway Blitz so far?
We don't have a lot of information. I mean, first of all, we do know the name of this sick reality show, the Midway Blitz. And we have not had real coordination from this administration at all. In fact, we haven't had any official communication from the White House, the Trump administration. They're not working with us, and it's by design. They don't want to work with us because this is not an action that is focused on public safety. You just reported that they said that they were going after the worst of the worst, and then what we found out is that some of the actions from this weekend were a flower vendor or people at a bus stop. They are going after hardworking people who have been our neighbors for years, if not decades. This is not about public safety. This is about the Trump administration wanting to be the center of attention and to really cause chaos in our cities to distract from his failures.
Officials will help carry out this operation, but some city and state leaders say they don't want it. It's drawn a number of protests even before the promised operation was launched. Here's more of what state leaders are saying.
What we are experiencing today is not normal. People going out in the street and being snatched from their family members is not normal.
Meanwhile, President Trump has not deployed the National Guard to Chicago like we've seen happen in D.C. and Los Angeles.
Regardless of when or if Chicago sees federal troops, an immigration crackdown is expected to ramp up in Chicago, something DHS is calling Operation Midway Blitz. And a big part of the federal strategy is a ramp up in ICE operations all over the country. Here in Chicago, daily detainments by federal agents has meant a steady stream of detainees brought to a suburban ICE facility for processing. According to a source, a known pedophile among the weekend arrests. Robbers just hit a Rolex store right on the famed Magnificent Mile, smashing the windows, grabbing nearly $200,000 in watches. Police made 6 arrests, but since Friday, there have been 15 shooting incidents and 5 homicides.
Chicago does not need militarization. Chicago needs mobilization for justice. Chicago does not need cages. Chicago needs care, community, and compassion.
Anxiety energy remains high in Chicago, especially in immigrant communities. Anger over ICE fueled a massive rally over the weekend with thousands marching through the heart of Chicago to protest what's been happening. Now, enforcement is expected to ramp up even more this week with Customs and Border Patrol now in Chicago to join with the ICE operations. And this is much of the same personnel behind the crackdown in Southern California over the summer.
It was promised by the Trump administration, and now it is here. The enhanced immigration enforcement has a name, Operation Midway Blitz. We have team coverage tonight. Jermont Terry has new reaction from the community. But we begin with Sarah Maki live at the ICE facility in Broadview with what we know so far about this operation. Sarah?
Yeah, Joe, here in Broadview, things are quiet right now. This, though, as tensions are heating up in other parts of the Chicago area. Concerns started yesterday. We were in Archer Heights and West Lawn as neighbors were reacting to what looked like ICE picking up several residents in those areas. That action continued again today, now with the name Operation Midway Blitz. Witnesses shared video of these tense moments as neighbors of one Woodlawn block confront a crew they suspect is working with ICE. At least one of the same people spotted at an ICE arrest in neighboring Archer Heights Sunday. ICE telling us this is where they arrested a man, Juan Armenta, from Mexico for armed robbery and DUI, one day before the announcement of Operation Midway Blitz.
Let's honor Katie and the fact that hopefully no other children will have to go through this Russian roulette that our state is playing.
Video from the Department of Homeland Security saying the operation is in honor of 20-year-old Katie Abraham, killed in a hit and run in Springfield in January. The suspect, 29-year-old Julio Cucobol from Guatemala, picked up by U.S. Marshals days later in Texas using a different name and currently awaiting trial.
He didn't have a driver's license. He shouldn't have been on the roads. He had been pulled over before.
Homeland Security says they are targeting Chicago and Illinois because people came here knowing Governor Pritzker and his sanctuary policies would protect them and allow them to roam free on American streets.
We're in Chicago. We've been in Chicago from day one. We've increased resources in Chicago. As far as a massive operation, we'll see what happens. But right now, we're in Chicago.
Governor J.B. Pritzker's office responding with a statement that acknowledges they have received no formal communications or information from the Trump administration. As part of their announcement today, DHS listed 11 people who they say were in custody but released despite having detainers that were requested by ICE. Now, we asked the Cook County Sheriff's Office about this. They tell us that they do honor criminal arrest warrants, but state law prohibits them from honoring any kind of detainers or what they call non-enforceable documents. From Broadview, Sarah Maki, CBS News, Chicago.
The immigration enforcement surge is now fully underway. ICE agents and those with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms going after what they say are suspected gang members today. The officers in this operation have asked us to blur their faces because many of them work undercover. We've also blurred the faces of the people arrested because they have not yet been charged.
Make sure everybody's well prepared.
A team of federal agents who were targeting criminal offenders who are not here legally descending on the Lawndale community today as part of Operation Midway Blitz. ABC News Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas riding along. The ATF says it is investigating possible gun trafficking by members of the Tren de Aragua gang. 3 people were taken into custody during the course of the day. This effort an indication the crackdown is kicking into high gear. It comes as Governor J.B. Pritzker was meeting with a host of advocates for immigrant rights, talking about best practices for protecting vulnerable families where some members may be citizens or documented while others are not.
Even though this is a terrible moment, we are winning here. We are, even if there are still people who are being taken and still there are attacks in our communities.
After touring the National Museum of Mexican Art, the governor admitted the state is being kept in the dark about ICE activity.
Here's what we do know. ICE is somewhere on the ground here. They already have been effectuating their plans. We have not seen the bulk of those ICE agents yet in communities, but we have seen some, and we know that they are gathering steam.
In Pilsen, where they're getting ready to celebrate Mexican Independence Day this weekend, there was a word of caution and unity.
And we call for our Mexican community to be cautious in these dark times. And if it poses a risk, stay home and don't come to the grito, but you can celebrate from home because we stand in solidarity for you and your families.
The federal agents say they are going after the so-called worst of the worst, and if they come across undocumented people at the scene, those folks could be detained as well. Rob.
Midway Blitz, Trump's federal strike force zeroes in on Chicago. That's right, Chicago. You've been asking for it? It's here. This is Keith, the law enforcement OG. I got 15 plus years experience in law enforcement, and let's get into this right here and right now. The Trump administration has launched Operation Midway Blitz. That's right, a blitz in Chicago. A sweeping crackdown in Chicago targeting illegal immigration and violent criminals. That includes you gangbangers with old switches. Federal agents led by DHS and ICE are hitting hotspots across the city, zeroing in on illegal aliens with criminal records and gang ties. While Mayor Brandon Johnson and other Chicago leaders cry foul, the reality is simple, and it's very simple. Their soft on crime policies have allowed chaos to fester. That's right, fester in the city of Chicago. Now, Trump's federal strike force isn't here to play political games. It's here to restore law and order for the folks who live within the city of Chicago. Gangbangers and cartel affiliates may think they own the streets, but they're about to meet trained federal agents who operate at a whole different level. Operation Midway Blitz marks the beginning of Chicago's finally being held accountable, with Washington saying enough is enough. Do you think federal intervention is the only way to clean up cities that refuse to police their citizens? Well, I do. And I want your answer to this as well. Because, you know what? It is time that we start getting rid of all of these chaotic criminals who think they can victimize us as citizens. This is Keith, the law enforcement OG, and I'm happy to see this happening. Hey, all you criminals in Chicago, you might want to watch out, because I think they got a target on you. Give me a follow, repost, leave a comment, let me know what you think. I'm out.